talk about two lists. We all live with these two lists, whether we know it or not. We make a lot of decisions based on these two lists. And these two lists really can be seen in the Serenity Prayer, if you're familiar with that from any recovery groups, Alcoholics Anonymous, Celebrate Recovery, anything like that. The Serenity Prayer says, God, grant me the serenity, the peace, the acceptance to accept the things I cannot change. That's list number one, the things I cannot change. God, give me the courage to change the things I can. That's list number two, things I can actually change, or at least things I can influence. And the wisdom to know the difference. That's the hardest part. So we all live with these two lists, our cannot change list and our can change list. The cannot change list takes serenity. It takes sort of this peace that really can only come from God. To take these things on this list and say, God, I can't change them. I can't do anything about these. I'm going to lay them at your feet. And as often as we pick them back up again, we lay them right back at his feet again. That takes some deep serenity, some serious peace and trust in God. That second list, that can change list, takes a lot of courage. It takes courage for us to face it and to try to do anything about it. It takes courage for us to even put things on that list in the first place. It's so easy just to be a victim. And maybe you're a legitimate victim. Maybe you've been victimized, big or small. But the role, the identity, the life identity of a victim just doesn't help anybody, right? We stay stuck because when we're the victim, nothing's our fault and everything's on that second list, that cannot change list. And sorry, that's the first list. Everything's on that first list, the cannot change list. And when you're the victim, nothing can be changed, and maybe it's sort of a cop-out way of, hey, nothing I can do about it, it's the way it goes. But at the same time, nothing ever changes, right? That's why it's on the cannot change list. When you live life as a victim, you're stuck. But to move things from that victim list, that cannot change list, over to the can change list takes so much courage. Because now we've got to take responsibility for those things. Now we recognize and admit that there's ways we can make changes in those areas. Maybe it's your job that you hate and you've always said, hey, nothing I can do about it. If you're honest with yourself, that probably doesn't belong on your cannot change list. Your job probably belongs on your can change list. Things you actually can change and influence and affect and make better for yourself. So I want you thinking about that this week, this idea that we have two lists and some things belong on the cannot change list. You can't change the past. That's on your cannot change list. You can't change other human beings. How they act, the words that come out of their mouths, the way that they feel or respond even to you. You can't change any of that. That goes on your cannot change list. A lot of things, though, go on your can change list. And you got to be courageous and put them on there and say, you know what, I really can change this. I can work hard and change the way I think about things. I can forgive. I can change the way I feel about things through prayer and through honest assessment and understanding, and in many cases through forgiveness as well. I can change my circumstances in a lot of ways. Maybe not everything, but I can change a lot of my circumstances. And it's going to take courage to put things on that second list. But that second list, that can change list, that's your power list. Because now you're back in the driver's seat. When you got a list of things that you can change, all of a sudden, hey, you're in control again and you can make a difference. Folks, things can get better. If your cannot change list is really, really long, you need to reevaluate it because you might be living life in the victim role. Even if you were victimized, remember that victim identity never gets you anywhere, never gets you unstuck, right? If you're playing the victim card and everything is victim and everything's poor me and everything's everybody else's fault, hope you're happy where you are because you're going to stay there. You're not moving. You're not getting out of that. So take a look at that cannot change list. Are there some things you need to move courageously over to your can change list and face them? And then look at your can change list. Are there some things on there you have no power over? Your kids, your spouse, your parents, other people, the past? Are you stuck on the past? Guys, that's on your cannot change list. You can't do anything about it. Not your can change list. You can't touch it. You got to get it off that can change list and get it on the right one. 2 lists. Accepting the things you cannot change. Biblically, that means laying them at Jesus' feet. And courageously facing the things that we can change. That means praying about them, taking the initiative, and moving forward with God's power and His help. Don't stay stuck where you are. Keep moving forward. Put the right things on the right lists. We'll get through this together. We'll see you guys next time.